Okay, so we are talking about the heart system. When you talk about the heart system, you know heart is a what? A pumping organ. The moment I say pumping organ means what? It's going to give the blood from one part, that is from heart, it goes all over the body. Now we talk about it as a four chamber one. So the moment I say it's a four chamber one, that means this is first chamber, second, third, and the fourth. This two is called the atrium, and the downward is called ventricles. Very good. So we have just done this. Now heart is a muscular organ which composed of the cardiac muscle. The muscles found in the heart is called as a cardiac muscles. It is so small that it can be inside adult breast. Suppose I'm doing this. This is giving me idea how much heart size is there, right? The human heart is composed of the four chamber, right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle, and left atrium. Now, in this case, we're going to talk about systole. What is a systole? What is a systole? It's the contraction of a cardiac muscle. If there is a relaxation, that means what? It's a diastole. So systole and diastole are the contraction relaxation of the heart muscles. Okay. So that is the point we're going to talk about. Now let's talk about the arteries. The moment I say arteries, what is arteries? These are a thick walled. Why they have a thick wall? If this is the artery, it is a thick wall, and this is the vein, it is a thin wall, because artery are starting from the heart. So if it is a heart is a pumping organ, it's going to create pressure on the artery, because ultimately we are getting the blood pressure is getting on the wall of the arteries. So wall of the artery should be very thick enough to withstand the pressure, blood pressure. But in case of vein collecting the blood from other body parts and then towards the heart. So they had a valves for them. Okay. So now pulmonary arteries are exception. There are some exceptions. Pulmonary arteries. Why? Because these are the arteries which carries the deoxygen blood from the atrium towards the lung for the getting oxygen inside. So because they carry deoxygen blood from the heart to the lungs. Now, in case of veins, what are the veins according to you? Thin wall blood vessel which carry deoxygenated blood. They carry the deoxygenated blood. Okay, the heart pulmonary veins are exceptions. Again, there is exception. Now, which is the vein which carry oxygenated blood? Pulmonary. Which is the artery in the body which carries the deoxygen blood? Pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery is confusing, so be very careful about it. Now, our circulatory system is like this. So it consists of what? Circulatory system consists of it begins with what? A pumping organ is heart is there. We have a blood vessel, arteries and veins. And this arteries goes to the capillaries. Capillaries going to form, and from the capillaries again they rejoin to form a vein. Blood vessel, there is a blood and lymph. Blood, everything is there. Lymph, that divide of the RBCs. Okay, but they have a WBCs. So what is going to happen here? In deoxygenated blood from the body is getting collected via vena cava. Vena cava is going to pour the blood into the right atrium. From right atrium, it go to right atrium get contracts. When it contracts, it's going to give the blood to the lungs via pulmonary artery. So, okay, then it goes to the, okay, now what is happening here? Right ventricle is relaxed. So now what is we are talking about? Relaxation and a contraction. So here, right atrium is got relaxed, right atrium is got contract, then right ventricle get relaxed, then right ventricle get contract, then lungs, oxygen blood is going, left atrium is relaxed, left atrium contracts, left ventricle relaxed. What is this? So I will tell you in nutshell. When you talk about the heart, is a four chamber one. This is atria, ventricle, ventricle. When you talk about the atria, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava are responsible for carry out the blood, pouring the blood into the atrium. Which atrium? Right atrium. From the right atrium, it goes to the lungs via pulmonary artery. These are the only arteries which carries the deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood, because oxygen is not there. And from there, it goes to the lungs. Now they got oxygenated. Now this oxygenated blood is carried by pulmonary vein. So in the human body, pulmonary are the vein who carries the oxygenated blood. Now that pulmonary carry the blood, veins carry the blood towards left atrium. From the left atrium, now it's going to goes where? Yes. So it's going to get what? Now here is the right ventricle and left ventricle. Left ventricle is more the thickened wall because more pump blood is going to go. From the left atrium, it goes to the. So yes, that's fine. Exactly correct. So in case of ventricle, what is going to happen? See, from the atrium, from the right atrium, its blood is getting collected. From the right atrium, the blood is going to get down into the right ventricle. Right ventricle is going to squeeze. Then it goes to the pulmonary arteries, then lungs. Pulmonary veins get poured into the left atrium. From the left atrium, it going to pour down into the ventricles, and the left ventricle when squeezed via aorta, it's going to go out. Various part. Very good. So that is the blood circulation we are going to talk about. Have you understood this part? Okay, very good. Capillaries. These are the blood vessels which have a single cell wall. Why they have a single cell wall? Because capillary is the one responsible for exchange of the gases. You must have seen if it's the alveoli, the capillary beds is there. So suppose this is a capillary, this is carrying the deoxygenated blood. So if taking air inside, so alveoli will be having the air. From there, oxygens get into the blood capillaries, and from the blood capillaries, the CO2 is coming out. Exchange of the gases. Blood plasma. Okay, blood is a connective tissue. Which is the biggest connective tissue? Blood is the connective tissue. So, it is the carrier of a various substance in the body. Blood composed of plasma and the blood cell. Blood plasma is a pale colored liquid. Plasma, which color is there? It's a pale color liquid. Okay, it's what? A pale color liquid will be there. It is mostly composed of the water, blood, plasma, and matrix of the blood. Now, in a blood cell, these are the two types of blood cell. Red blood cell, that's why the color of the blood is what? Red. And the white blood cell, WBCs are there. They're responsible for phagocytosis to kill the microbes. A red blood corpuscles, these are the red color because of the presence of hemoglobin. Why they are red in color? Because hemoglobin is there. Which is the pigment? Hemoglobin readily combines with oxygen and carbon dioxide. So hemoglobin is the one in the RBC responsible for taking oxygen from the lungs, goes to the various part, gives the oxygen to the cell and take up the carbon dioxide. Hemoglobin is there. Hemoglobin is there. White blood cells, these are the pale white color. They play important role in immunity. And what is immunity? Body is preventing to get harmful effect via bacteria and all, right? Pathogens. Platelets. What are the platelets function? If there is a cut in our hand, what going to happen? A minute color blood clot will be there. So platelets are responsible for blood coagulation. Clotting is called coagulation. Blood coagulation is a defense mechanism which prevents the excess loss of blood in case of injury. Okay. Now lymph. What is a lymph? The moment I talk about the lymph, what comes in your mind? A lymph is nothing but similar to the blood, but it is a devoid of RBC. Now tell me one thing. The blood coloration is what? Red color. You're getting my point? Red color is because of the RBC. If you remove the RBC from the blood, whatever is remaining, it's called a lymph. The lymph is formed from the fluid which leaks. What's that? Leaks from the blood capillaries and goes to the intercellular spaces. Suppose this is the capillaries network. Blood cells are there. Which blood cells is not transferring outside? RBC. So they divide of the RBC. So coloration is not red in case of lymph. Okay, this fluid is connected through the lymph vessel, finally returned to the blood capillary. From the blood vessel, see, everything is closed. Blood system is closed over here. So what has happened? There is an interstitial spaces. So capillary is what? Perforated one. Means what? Semi-permeable you can say. Permeability is for some materials there, for not some materials they are not going out. So those are going out interstitial spaces. They are called that accumulation is called a lymph. Lymph is yellowish fluid. Okay, escape from the blood capillaries into the intracellular spaces. Lymph flows from the tissue to the heart, assisting the transportation and the destroying germ. Now tell me one thing, if there is a germ, there is a virus in interstitial spaces, so there should be, we should have a mechanism. Mechanism चाहिए ना वहाँ पे उसको मार डालने के लिए, right? So who is going to take care of that? Lymph. Blood is closed system. In the interstitial spaces there, Who will take participate in that? Lymph will be there. Yeah. Lymph is responsible for that. Very good. Now double circulation. Why we call it as double circulation? This question is very, very important. The moment I call double circulation, in the human heart, blood passes through the heart twice. How many times? Twice. Is going to pass us twice. Why it is twice in the cardiac cycle? This type of circulation is called double circulation. One complete heartbeat in which all the chambers of the heart contract and relax. So one heartbeat is what? Systole and diastole. Contraction and relaxation. This include one heartbeat, or we can say cardiac cycle. The heartbeat about 70 times per minute. How much? 72. In cardiac cycle, the heart pump is 70 ml. How much amount of blood is pumping during the one cardiac output? 70 ml. Okay. Now about how much? 14900 ml of blood in a minute. In minute, there are 60 seconds, right? So its calculation is what? In one cardiac cycle, there is a 70. So how many times heart is beating? 72 ml. 72. Okay, it will become around 14900 ml. 70 into 72. If you do this, you will get that value. Okay. The blood in the minute. So double circulation ensure complete segregation of the oxygen and deoxygenated blood, which is optimum energy production should be there. So this was we talking about the double circulation. Have you understood this? So we talk about the heart is the pumping organ. Then we talk about the bloods and all things. Okay.